Hi everyone, welcome back to our series of videos for Zeeve platform, how you can leverage Zeeve for your production grade blockchain deployments. Today we're going to be covering a very new protocol which is added recently to Zeeve, which is Coreum. So Coreum itself is a very popular blockchain protocol. It works on proof of stake, and Zeeve has added its capability, its support quite recently. So we'll hop on to the demonstration. If you haven't seen our earlier videos of C platforms overview or other protocols which might be of your interest, I would highly recommend that you go through them. But it covers a lot of generic bits of how we can use C platform to create your workspaces, create your networks, RPC endpoints, all those fancy bits that we've covered there. For now, we'll directly jump onto our dedicated nodes for Coreum protocol. So once you land on your dashboard, again, we've discussed that a couple of times of what our dashboard gives us in terms of insights. Once you go there and you navigate yourself to dedicated nodes under managed services, you can see any existing networks that you may have currently within your deployments. And I can go here and click on Add Network to showcase you guys how we can perform a deployment. So here you can see all of my previous purchases that I have, and using any of these purchases, I can go ahead with the deployment of Coreum. So I'll click here Coreum, and you can see certain attributes like bring your own cloud AWS, full node, RPC access. That's the kind of subscription I've created, but I can create multiple subscriptions. I can even create for BYOC, PO, or GCP. Z supports multiple clouds, so you just might want to check what kind of cloud Z supports. So we'll go ahead with this subscription. And you can see I have one of two nodes, which is currently present in my balance. So I get redirected to the screen, which asks me a bunch of stuff. It asks me the name of my network. So let's say I'll just put down here Coreum demo net for the time being. I can select my type of network. So Zeeve currently supports testnet, but will also be coming up in mainnet pretty soon too. So keep an eye out for that. And you can choose deployment type of whether to do it with Kubernetes or with native deployments on VMs. Currently with Coreum, we're only giving native deployments, so I can go ahead and select that. I can select the workspace where I would want this deployment to be present. So workspaces, as I've mentioned a couple of times before, it's a cool way that you can manage your resources within your project in a neat way, and you can manage its permissions also really neatly. So I'm going to select here public nodes, and I'm gonna go next. Now it would ask me all the configurations that are specific to my node. So my RPC credentials, I'm just gonna write here Coreum node 1. I can put down a password for my node. So a strong password is recommended here according to the policy. I can give a name to my node so I can easily recognize it on my platform, on my dashboards, as well as for my notification purposes. And even my RPC URL will have it present as a subdomain. So this name of the node is something for me to recognize my node as. So that's the name of my node. I can even give a moniker ID, which is again a very specific field to Coreum. You can see a default value already present here, so we'll leave it as it is. And I can choose what kind of services do I want to enable on this RPC node. We can select HTTP, we can select WS, or both of them at the same time. And Zeeve will make sure that the node that is deployed has both of these services enabled for us to connect on. So given these details, I can go ahead and click next. I can select my region of deployment. So for here, I have selected AWS, bring your own cloud, but based on the kind of deployment strategy I would have, Zeeve would just ask me the options on basis of that selection. So let's say if I would select DO as my option, then I would see all the regions of DigitalOcean or If I would select GCP, I would see all the regions of GCP. Or let's say if I would select Zeeve Managed, where I don't have to worry about the cloud account at all, Zeeve would again provide its list of regions which are possible, which are supported for that deployment strategy. So you by yourself can decide what is more suitable to your deployments, and you can go ahead with it. It happens a lot of times that certain enterprises would rather use their cloud account at the end of the day, while some people, some companies, consulting companies, don't not really want to worry about the cloud setup at all, and they are happy to use anything which is fully managed. So you can use Z fully managed, where you don't have to worry about your cloud account configurations whatsoever. If you want to look into how cloud is configured on Z, your own cloud, you can again look at some of our previous videos. A general overview of Z platform is recommended. So you can see that I have selected my cloud account, which is already configured for AWS. I have selected my cloud account, which I'll be using, and I've selected my region on basis of the cloud again, which is going to be used here. My node name again pops up here, and I can select the machine size for my own purpose. So I'll just quickly select machines of this sort. Let's say if my machine specs are not good enough, then Z would let me know that you probably want to choose a better specs machine because it's lesser than what is recommended. But nevertheless, I'll select a decent size machine for the time being, and I'll go ahead and click create. So Zeeve at this point would do all kind of checks of whether your access, your permissions are enough to set up the node. And once that is completed, then it will start initiating all the infrastructure provisioning. And following that, we'll have our node provisioning taking up as well. So our network will take some time to set up and get ready. Based on the cloud, it can take some X number of time, X number of minutes to set it up on the infrastructure level. And after that, it would just download the snapshot and get all the service layer ready for consumption as well. But we already have a node present here, which we can perhaps showcase for the purpose of this demonstration. So you can see that I've got a graphical representation of my node here on the right, and I can see that this network that I've created. So this is part of the same test network, but Zeeve's terminology allows me to handle my nodes in a clean way with the network as a middle terminology, middle layer of handling all my projects. So I've got my project which says Coreum net. Let's say if you are using your project has diverse staging and prod environments, you can also name your networks differently for your own purpose. So I've got a Coreum net network here within which there is one node. This one node is deployed in AWS. As you can see, we can see the region where it is deployed. We can go ahead and see the endpoint as well. We can do various actions with this node like stopping, restarting, viewing the analytics, or deleting the node altogether. So just some management, which allows me to control my network, my nodes. And if I click on view endpoint, then I can also see all the general details of this node, like what is the block height currently, what are the connection URLs or HTTP and WebSocket, because we've enabled both of them here. I can also see a little bit of an example snippet of how to connect to my node. So this is an example snippet of how you would connect with the Node.js application, JavaScript application, whether it's on Node.js or front end. And similarly, you can also do a couple of actions against this network. You can choose to add more nodes as you go along. Adding more nodes means that your project may have more fault tolerance built in. You can add your load balancer with help of Zeeve exports. You can also make sure that your nodes endpoint have uptime to the 100% because these blockchain clients often do not have failover switches or hot and hot setups. You can have more nodes added to these networks to have that kind of high availability. You can also choose to just delete the whole network altogether. So these are some basic actions. And one place that I'd like to pull our focus towards is that analytics of each and every node. So you can see that when I click on analytics, but I can see the node analytics as well as Coreum specific analytics. So Zeeve covers both of them. So we just clicked on node analytics, and you can see all the bunch of details present here. What is our network ID, node ID, for which we're seeing all the graphs here. We can see the CPU usage, RAM, swap, root FS, and memory, and all the historical details as well. And below, you can also see the CPU, RAM, the uptime, the root FS size, other important bits. And Zeeve also, gives you alerts on basis of these specific parameters, so that you, at the end of the day, don't have to worry about opening these dashboards all the time. Zeeve will itself inform you over emails and notifications on your mobile and such, to make sure that you're on top of your deployment. Alongside node analytics, Zeeve also takes care of the blockchain monitoring. So blockchain monitoring, which is very specific to the blockchain protocol, Zeeve does it so you don't have to worry about it. Where we capture all the parameters which are very specific to that protocol, to your node itself. So you can see my Coreum node has a block height of about 1.5 million, where I can see the total number of transactions that it has seen so far, the average block time, bonded tokens, number of validators in the network, the voting power, if that is all good and well. I can also see the block size of the network, if that is going up and down, and does my application need to perhaps change the parameters on basis of these figures for gas, or whatever is involved in terms of doing my transactions. Yeah, I can also see the transactions on this network, on this test network, of how it has been for a period of time. I can see how many peers are connected to my node, unconfirmed transactions, failed transactions, according to the time slot that I've selected here, and recheck times as well, which is very specific to Coreum again. You can also choose to select different dates, time slots for each of these analytic components here, and toggle between them. You can also see total network input, total network output. So network I/O is also well covered. So you're well aware of how much of network utilization is happening because of the node. So again, these parameters are something that Zeeve also considers while throwing you alerts of various kind. So let's say if your number of peers are below a certain level, a certain threshold, then Zeeve will give you an alert that your node is not connected to as many peers as it is recommended, and Zeeve experts would get on a call with you directly to make sure that it doesn't get lesser than that, and we handle it before any issues come about. And similarly, that's just my example. We take care of adding alerts as much as possible for every protocol, so you don't have to worry about it yourself. So that's a little bit of Coreum for you, or you can utilize the for the purpose of making your application work with a fully managed node. Um, Again, the benefits of all of this is that you ultimately get a standard secure deployment of your intentional blockchain node, Coreum in this case, where you don't have to worry about the security challenges of it, you don't have to worry about the uptime. You can be rest assured that there are the experts who take care of your deployment if there's any such issue that will come about it. And because of all of this, because we would take care of all the DevOps and infrastructure side of things, the cost of setting up a node, having the technical expertise is no longer in need anymore. You don't have to worry about the complexity that comes up with this infrastructure setup, and the eventual cost of all of the setup for your projects would go down drastically. So the cost element, as well as the time to market, which would also get reduced by a good percentage, a majority of the percentage, because again, you do not have to worry about the complexity of your blockchain nodes when you're dealing with your tap applications. And while we're on this topic, I should also mention that Zeeve supports staking as well for Coreum nodes. So you can go ahead and select Coreum for staking purposes, and you can use Zeeve for that purpose as well. So you don't have to worrying about how to set up the node and making sure it is guaranteed uptime. Instead, you can just choose Coreum and go along with that setup. We won't go into that demonstration, but you can see that we have staking node section here, which basically gives us the idea of what kind of protocols that I can select from, and I can perhaps perform staking. If the protocol is available for staking, then Zeeve would allow you to do it in a few clicks. So I would highly recommend that you check it out as well for your purpose if you're interested in staking. That's about it. I think we've covered our today's demonstration for Coreum. But I would highly recommend that you follow us on all of our social platforms. We are very active on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and all the fancy places elsewhere as well to make sure that you guys are all aware of our services that we are launching on our platform. Some of the things which you are looking to add for Coreum in next coming dates is also to give shared nodes access as well as the blockchain data as well. So index data APIs for blockchain is also something that is coming up really quickly on Zeeve platform. So I would say that please look onto our platform. We're adding much more interesting stuff for Coreum. Shared nodes and blockchain data are just a couple of more, but we'll be giving more in-depth features for Coreum in next coming weeks or months. Thanks for joining in, and please look forward to our another session that we'll be doing next week for a different blockchain protocol, perhaps that might be of more interest to you. If you have already an interest in mind and you see one of our videos covering that blockchain protocol, then I would recommend that you check it out. Check out the Zeeve platform. You can sign up and start using its services. Many of the services are already free, and you should not have any issues whatsoever to get started. We have good developer documentation, so nothing to hold you guys back. Thanks for joining in and see you next time. Bye bye.